Nathan Zegura here at Paycor Stadium, where the Browns fall 23-10 to the Cincinnati Bengals, dropping to 5-8 on the season. It was the Bengals' first win over the Browns in their last 6 games. And for the Browns, they will look back at this one and they will say, it is on us. Penalties, especially in the first half, were killers because Deshaun Watson, he played significantly better than he did a week before down in Houston. Still not perfect, still not enough, only 10 offensive points for the Browns, but they could have had more. We'll talk about that in a second, but it was the penalties today that really undid this team, especially in the first half. Let's go to that first half now. The Browns defense gets the ball for the offense on the opening drive. They move down the field. They face a 4th and 1 just outside the red zone. They bring in Jacoby Brissett as they did in 4th and short. Everybody thinking sneak. Last time it was a tight end sweep for a first down in Houston. This time they try to play action pass and a shot to Donovan Peoples-Jones in the back right corner of the end zone. It was incomplete, and the Browns' opening drive that could have led to points and a lead, instead it came up empty and had no points. Now the defense continued to play well. They forced another punt from the Cincinnati Bengals. This one backed up way deep in Cincinnati territory after they had gotten the ball back for their offense. But on special teams, Tony Fields, the hero a week ago in Houston, he would rough the punter. The Browns would have had the ball about their own 40 in a 0-0 game with the defense playing great, having forced punts on the opening 3 possessions of the Bengals. Instead, they extend the drive. And then after that, you get a pass interference penalty. You get a host of penalties. In fact, penalties for 58 yards on that drive. It would end with Burrow finding Chase for a touchdown. It would be 7-0 Bengals. The Bengals would add another touchdown after a Browns field goal. They would be ahead 13-3 at the half, but that touchdown also in the first half shouldn't have happened either. On 3rd and 10, the Browns had gotten off the field. They had gotten a sack of Joe Burrow. Instead, a penalty in the back end of the defense, a defensive holding, offset with a holding by the Bengals. They got another crack at it. Burrow converted. They would finish the drive with a Samaje Perine touchdown. They'd miss the extra point. They would go into the half up 13-3. The Browns offense couldn't get anything going early. All of a sudden, it was 20-3 on a blown coverage. The Bengals had run a flea flicker. The Browns bought the run action. They jumped up. Trent Irwin behind the defense. Burrow hit him for a touchdown. They'd add another field goal later, give them their 23 points. The Browns would get a touchdown in the second half when Watson got in a nice rhythm. Started finding Donovan Peoples-Jones, who'd finished with more than 100 yards today, and he found David Njoku for the first touchdown of his Browns career. Chiefs 7 catches and the score today. Obviously, not enough. The Browns couldn't get it done. They had opportunities late in the game. Watson would throw an interception. The Browns' D would get it back. Clowney was great today. A lot of pressures, a lot of run stops, a tip that leads to Deion Jones' interception. Miles was great as well. He had 2 sacks. The Browns had 2 other sacks that were wiped out due to penalties, as I mentioned earlier. But the Browns couldn't convert. They'd come down 13, about 6 minutes to go, got down inside the 5, 4th down and goal from the 4. They were not able to convert as Watson tried to hit Donovan Peoples-Jones. That would be the last serious threat from the Browns offense, and that was it. On the plus side, Watson looked significantly better in week 2, thrown for over 270 yards. His first touchdown, he also ran for 33 yards, accounting for nearly 310 yards of offense. I mentioned Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mentioned the good play of Jadeveon Clowney. Offensively, you had David Njoku as well getting it done. Miles getting after the quarterback twice. He's now over 70 sacks, one of just 10 players in NFL history to do that in their first 6 seasons. But the Browns did not have an answer for Jamar Chase. He went over 100 yards on a day when Tyler Boyd went out early, Hayden Hurst did not play, and T. Higgins played 1 snap. They didn't have any of their guys on offense. Chase still had a big day, over 100 yards and the touchdown. But it was those penalties in the first half that cost this football team. And in many ways, it was a microcosm for the season at large. What happened early in the year, letting some games get away from them, some self-inflicted wounds. They showed up again today, and you can't go on the road, beat a team that represented your conference in the Super Bowl, beat a team that is 8-4 on a 4-game winning streak, now 9-4, when you give them those opportunities with the penalties. And the Browns have got to clean that up. It's too late in the season for that, and now here they sit at 5-8 with their playoff hopes alive by the slimmest of margins. The good news is the guy you traded for, Deshaun Watson, he showed you today flashes of that brilliance, making plays from the pocket in rhythm, delivering the football very nicely, making plays out of structure, had some incredible plays today, but ultimately it was not enough. Only 10 points on the scoreboard. The Browns could not get Nick Chubb going. He was limited to just 34 yards on 14 carries. Not good enough, just over 2 yards a carry. The Browns line was dominated up front by DJ Reader and BJ Hill. We had talked about that going into the game. They just couldn't capitalize. They had their chances early, couldn't capitalize, and then it was too little, too late. And so back to the drawing board. The Ravens coming to town next Saturday at First Energy Stadium. The Browns will look to get back into the win column to win 3 of the last 4, but today they had their chances, and those yellow flags, self-inflicted wounds, cost the Browns, and they lose 23-10.